Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I've got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead.
Join me on my Fat Positive radio show,
Which didn't last long because she died.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. What day is it? Thursday. Headed into the weekend soon, and then we've got, Saturday, Sunday, and then New Year's Eve. I think I'll probably work New Year's Day. I know some people have to work, and even if you're not at work, it's still good to know what's going on, maybe an abbreviated schedule, I guess. But, if you work, I work. Interesting story. For years, now suddenly it's all gone quiet. But for years, you remember the Healthy at All Sizes movement, a movement in which tried to gaslight the American public and really people all over the West that being 200 to 300 pounds overweight was in fact healthy. It was in fact good. Now, there were aspects of that movement that I agreed with in that, you shouldn't make fun of people because they're fat. Okay. I get it. If you're in middle school or high school or whatever, okay, or if a fat like me is trying to offer health advice, you're allowed to point out that I am, in fact, a fat. There are certain positions of it, but that's not really what the movement was about. It was to gaslight people into literally believing that they were healthy. And not one, not two, not three, not four, but almost all of the propped up Healthy at All Sizes models, or influencers, fatfluencers or whatever, they're all dead. Now, nobody covered that. There were hundreds of articles who kept telling the kids of America that this was healthy. This is why I don't have any problem dunking on their graves. They went online every day and told kids that it was okay to be 200 pounds, 300 pounds overweight, and that it was in fact empowering. How many people do you think they killed with this advice? Sentenced to a life of, difficult movement, clogged arteries, diabetes, losing limbs, all this stuff. 4 social media influencers were swept up by the movement that claimed obesity is perfectly healthy. The tragic truth is they have now all died under the age of 45. This is what we all knew. The final videos posted to Brittany Sowers' TikTok page made for an upsetting viewing. Speaking tearfully to the camera, the 31-stone social media star, who often posted defiantly body-positive content about how hot she felt in certain outfits, admitting with shocking candor that she had, in fact, ruined her life with food and binge eating. And it had left her at just age 28 full of regrets. Brittany had been a virtual prisoner in her own home for 2 years, dealing with the type 2 diabetes, repeated bouts of skin infections, cellulitis, which had caused a growth in her pelvis weighing more than 2 stone. Jeez. She had been forced to ask someone else to cut her toenails because she couldn't even do that without being out of breath. Yet she hoped that it wasn't too late to save herself. I'm scared I'm going to end up in a bad place that my body can't recover from, she said to her 500,000 TikTok followers. 500,000 kids listened to this woman tell them for years how healthy and how awesome it was to be this overweight. Within a week of posting that film last December, Brittany was dead. The decade past has seen an extraordinary momentum build around a central argument that being obese doesn't mean being unhealthy. In other words, you can be fat and fit. Branded health at every size, the philosophy has at its heart laudable goals. It aims to counter a multi-billion-dollar diet industry, which has a poor record when it comes to long-term sustainable weight loss, as an act of an antidote to the stigma encountered by people struggling with their weight. The idea was, rather than to shame overweight people and force them to diet, they should be encouraged to embrace their bodies, find exercises that they enjoy, and eat more nutritiously. But that's not how it actually came about. The United States edition of Cosmopolitan magazine was criticized for running a cover covers featuring plus size women. These were not plus size women. Plus size woman might be size 12, 14, 16, 18, something like that. These are women that were probably size 40 or 50. In yoga poses under the headline, "This is Healthy." As a part of a drive to challenge beauty stereotypes, it also featured United States plus-size model Tess Holliday, who at 5'3" and 300 pounds had a BMI of 53, more than double the healthy range, a decision condemned as dangerous and misguided. Self-styled fat activists, meanwhile, not only promote larger bodies as healthy, but reject decades of science which prove the dangers of excess body fat, encouraging devotees to ignore doctors who recommended that they lose weight. Another TikTok star, Waffler69, died of a heart attack, according to his brother, at just 33 years old. Real name Taylor Lejeune did not flaunt his weight, but amassed 2 million followers, again on TikTok, of children, posting videos regarding bizarre food, including reindeer meat and tinned ham from the 60s. The last video the day before he died showed him eating a giant Fruit Loop in milk. Jamie Lopez, who starred in the U.S. reality TV show Super Size Salon, also died from a heart attack at just 37 years old in December. The show centered around obese women getting beauty treatments and featured the catchphrase, "Go big or go home." Again, fetishizing these people and telling the American public that it is a good thing. Now, look, I'm overweight, okay? I don't walk around every day filled with shame, but I do often think, especially now as I'm 40 years old, that I'm really pushing it and that I need to, be better. So I've started to get back on the treadmill. I've got a dry January planned. I've got some plans for the new year to get back into like a reasonable shape. I'm never going to be rocking an 8-pack ab, but it'd be nice to not be 100 pounds overweight. She had described being discriminated against for being a plus size makeup artist and wanted women like her to feel confident and attractive. But then, for some reason, she decided to overhaul her health, eventually losing almost 180 kilograms, half her body weight, and still died. Well-known activist, professor of fat studies, Dr. Kat Pausay, who questioned the links between weight and health, also died at 42 years old. Based at Massey University in New Zealand, she presented a fat-positive radio show. She had said, "The science isn't quite as clear-cut as we'd like to believe. There's no real consensus." Yes, there is. Blair White is going absolutely viral right now for this 18-second video, which basically sums it up perfectly.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I've got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead,
Join me on my Fat Positive radio show.
which didn't last long because she died.
And there are many such cases. Body positivity TikTok Megha Thakur dies, quote, "suddenly and unexpectedly." What? These, again, I'm not a big dunk on, dance on people's graves kind of guy, okay? But these are people that falsely perpetrated this message to young kids, almost exclusively, from what I can see, the most of these people on TikTok and Instagram, which is full of little kids, right? Pushing this message that, it's cool to be gigantic. Look, we're coming up on the new year. I for one, am going to take my health. I'm going to take my health more seriously. I'm not going to try. I'm going to. I started this summer, then I fell off the wagon a little bit, and I'd rather not die of a massive coronary before I'm 50 years old. But I've never been someone out here who has said, "Hey, it's cool. Yeah, you should." I mean, you shouldn't like hate yourself, or you shouldn't let people push you around or ridicule you for being overweight. You can stand up for yourself, Okay. But that's completely different than like getting a college degree and telling other people that it's cool to be gigantic. This woman is not plus sized. She is morbidly obese. She is gihugic. Of course, in a YouTube video watched by more than 1 million times, Steven Crowder pours scorn on her work and her field of study. Oh yeah, the study. Fat Studies academic Dr. Kat Pause work ridiculed online days before her death. So they're mad that she was ridiculed, not that she tried to program America's youth into put them on a track to an early death, right? It's no different than, if you had a problem with, movies. Like, imagine if an influencer out there was like, yeah, smoking cigarettes is actually totally good for you. It's just the societal constructs around cancer that are bad. Do you think people would have let that fly? No. I mean, they let it fly with herb, I suppose. I'm not like one of those weirdos who has a problem with herb. I enjoy it, but I'm not going to pretend like there are no consequences to it. That psychosis doesn't happen, or that people can't get addicted, because I saw friends get addicted to it. And when we were in college, I had a friend that would rather constantly go on space cruises instead of go to class. I'd be walking out of school. He'd be walking in to go to class, a 50-minute class. And he'd be like, hey, you want to go burn one? I'm like, dude, why don't we just smoke after class? Nah, let's just go. I think we skip class. Never finished college. I had another friend, the same thing. So let's not pretend that people can't get overindulged. No, it didn't probably hurt them physically very much, but that's a different conversation. They also were not out there as, quote, influencers, pushed to the front page of applications like TikTok. I wonder why. Do you think China put these lunatics on the front page of their TikTok? No. For some reason, look at this individual here. Heart failure cost body positivity activists at 37. These are all articles in the last year, by the way. All the people that pushed these people on you and said that they were awesome, at her heaviest, Lopez weighed 846 pounds, and instead, they gave her a TV show. Now, she did lose 400 pounds, which is amazing. That's amazing. But at least 67% of the United States population is considered at minimum overweight. In other words, Americans at a metabolically healthy weight are in fact the significant minority. And then you come out with this crap, and people give these people television shows, and all these people liking and retweeting these people that were saying body positivity, blah, 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 blah. They're awfully quiet now, aren't they? And when we said, hey, maybe this isn't good, we were called phobic. It sucks that these people died, but I don't feel bad about it because they made careers out of telling other people to take the same path they did and have destroyed probably thousands of lives in their wake.